Our first segment of the day is regarding Friday's White House press briefing, where the gladiator, Peter Doocy of Fox News, squares off with Karine Jean Pierre regarding where's Joe Biden at with these debt negotiations. And folks, he catches her here. But before we jump into any of that, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. Your help support would be greatly appreciated. Now, Peter Doocy is pretty far away from the mic, so he's hard to hear. So I have the captions on for you guys. So listen carefully. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Thanks, Karine. So the last time that we got this close to a debt ceiling default, President Obama deputized his vice president to lead the negotiations. Why doesn't President Biden trust Vice President Harris to lead these negotiations while he's engaged?
Well, I disagree with your the premise of your question. The president does. Well, let me.
She could be at the Capitol. Why isn't she?
The president
Correct.
entrusts the vice president, as we all know, as we have stated many times. She was in the meeting that with the congressional members that occurred very recently, right before the president left for Japan. She has been in regular conversations as well, and has been in conversations with the president. He has taken her consult and listened to her advice, as he always does on many issues. This is one of many issues, and so that has not changed. And I think you actually said something that is incredibly important. The president has been there before, right? He has dealt with these types of negotiations, these types of conversations before. He knows how this all works. This is not new to him, and this is why he is optimistic. And this is why these conversations are going to continue, and he's going to stay on top of them.
Let's be fair. Joe Biden's giving Kamala Harris the pity invite. That's what it is. You feel bad. You want to make sure her presence is there because she is your vice president. But he's put her in a leadership position before, and she hasn't done anything. She was the border czar. He put her in position to fix the whole thing. And if anything, she exacerbated the problem along with DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. She made the problem worse. And this does not come as a shock to me. I was complaining about it when it happened because I saw what she did to the state of California and how she ran that in the ground, or at least one of the people that ran it into the ground. I mean, California today is a shell of what it used to be. It's just not what it was. Democrats have ran it into the ground. It wasn't Republicans that did it. It was Democrats that did it. In the same way that Democrats ran Chicago. I know we're hounding Democrats a lot here, but it's just a fact of what their policies are doing. If they just instituted good policies that allowed states to flourish, I'd be happy for them and I would vote for them. But they don't do that. They want a massive crime. They want all these things to take place that are ruining cities across the country. Here, he's just inviting her there. Oh, he's taking her consultation. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Joe Biden ain't listening to anybody. Joe Biden ain't listening to no one.
You said you're assuming the president will be updated momentarily by the team. What was he doing for the last several hours while they were in these meetings?
Well,
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Where's Joe Biden at anytime? We saw that his White House aides were having issues with his scheduling outside of the realm of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. They can't schedule the guy at any time because he's not all there. By the way, that's not me just hounding Joe Biden. That's coming from his own White House aides, you guys. So when I say things like that, it's not like I'm just pulling out of thin air. That's coming from his own White House aides. In the same way, a lot of people think I'm joking when I say, oh, Joe Biden might trip over a wire or a cord in the White House and break his hip or keel over. No, that's not coming from me. That's coming from his White House aides. They're literally terrified that this guy's going to trip over a camera cord when he's recording or moving around the White House. He almost fell down a flight of stairs just the other day again. And these weren't like little stairs. The guy, it would have been disastrous if Trump would have saw it. It would have been terrible. The guy would have fell. And I don't want anything bad to happen to Joe Biden. He's my president. But to sit here and raise awareness to the fact of what does Joe Biden actually do, she can't sit here and answer. So let's just hear her response.
they were having conversations, right? They were on the Hill, the negotiators. But how would he? Yeah, but how would he be updated if they're still having conversations on the Hill? It just ended moments ago.
Couldn't he call him?
Look, Peter.
He
Look,
just
wait,
conducted,
look, Peter.
The first year of his term, he conducted, because of the COVID pandemic, by video conference. Is that not possible right now?
Look, Peter, we're going to.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Logical. He didn't even have to go to Japan, right? These are these climate extremists, folks. They complain about carbon emissions, and it's not just him flying over to Japan, right? You have the entire Secret Service. They sit there and take the cargo planes. They drop off all these vehicles, multiple limousines. I mean, You guys, the carbon emissions that come from the president is insane. So the same guy that's pushing this whole climate extreme, climate accord, all this stuff is flying Japan when he spent, like you just saw Peter Doocy say, just telephoning in. Just do FaceTime and Zoom like we are doing here is basically all it is. But, you know, hey, she doesn't want to give details on exactly what he was doing for 7 hours. Have you noticed that? Very easily could have said, hey, you know, he was in meetings. He was in meetings with other, heck, I don't know, leaders around the world, whatever he does. But nobody knows what he does. He won't even take the press's questions. Nobody does. She doesn't even know. And she's this White House press secretary. She sends a mouthpiece and she has no idea.
Give the space to these negotiators, the time and the space to have these conversations. That's what we're going to do. The president is going to continue to be updated regularly, daily, as he has been for the past couple of days, and that's how we're moving forward. That's how we're seeing this process. The president has sat down twice with congressional leaders very recently to hear them out, to have the conversation.
Recently, this has been going on for like 100 days. Like 3+ months, and he just recently sat down with them. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
To talk about his budget, to talk about the urgency of getting the debt limit done, of Congress doing their job, and so he continued to hold the line in that way. And so, look, we're going to have the negotiators have their conversation. They just ended their last convening, if you will, and they're going to reconvene. I'm certain of that. And so the president's going to get an update from his team, as he did last night, as he done the last couple of days. I'm just going to keep going. Go ahead.
I would keep going too, Karine, because you just got shellacked by Peter Doocy, just as you always do. And Peter sat there and he took the moment and he ran with it, calling her out on a litany of things of, hey, why can't Kamala Harris handle the negotiations? She's in Los Angeles for some reason. Why can't she just go over to the Capitol or work in Washington with the House and figure this whole thing out? At least be somebody to just listen in, as Joe Biden likes to have her do. And she's the one that can actually sit there and tell the president what's going on. Furthermore, why isn't the president just, I don't know, phoning in himself? What has he been doing for these last 7 hours? In the same way that he went to Ireland with his family, right? But it was for diplomacy, right? It's for foreign policy. It was to do the work of the office of the president, as he sat there and chauffeured his entire family and visited like some building that his grandfather had something to do with. I guess he was a brick worker or something like that. But that was all on taxpayer dollars. So we know what he's doing, you guys. Again, if you connect the dots, the guy doesn't work between certain hours. They're in a foreign country. I'm sure he has jet lag, just as any of us else would. The guy's like 100 years old. So he's probably sleeping those 7 hours. We're not kidding when we say about his schedule. They have a tough time scheduling this guy between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. That's all he works. We're supposed to be excited, you guys, that he does a little bit of exercise. Okay, and the whole schedule thing doesn't just come from the White House aides that reported to Axios, which is where I'm getting that report from. But also, you had his prior White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, on the news saying the exact same thing of, well, he doesn't do anything before like 9 a.m. So when she was in the office, suppose it was 9 a.m. Now it's 10 a.m. So it's just getting actually worse and worse as time goes on. He's doing a little bit amount of work. So let me know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is Joe Biden putting in the hours, folks? I don't think so. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.